What's up, everybody? Welcome to Hammerdown Motorsports. Today behind me we have our 2017 Yukon Denali, and we're going to be changing out our battery today. Just kind of a quick and easy one today, but we're going to show you guys how we do it. So under the hood of the Yukon, you can see we definitely need to do a little bit of cleanup under here, but this is our battery. We do have this little cover right here. You lift this tab, flip this over, and this is going to be our positive terminal. And then we have this box sitting up here as well. I'm going to show you kind of how we finagle everything around that, and we're going to have to remove this brace to get everything out of the way, kind of make our life a little bit easier. So first up, we're going to remove this brace. We have a 13 millimeter here, we have a 13 millimeter here, and another one up here. We're just going to remove those three, and then kind of get this guy out of the way. Set that off to the side. Next up, I'm going to grab an extension and a 10 millimeter. We're going to get in here to our negative. We're going to loosen that guy up. And you can see when it starts feeling nice and loose, it actually kind of stops there, so you don't go too far. And then give it a little wiggle and lift up, and the battery terminal is out of the way. So general rules about batteries: the positive terminal is basically the captain of the ship. It is the first one on and the last one off. So what we're gonna do now is we're going to loosen up our positive. And these, they kind of get a little bit tight at the very end, so you know where to stop, so you know you're loose enough. We're going to lift that up. You can see everything kind of raise up on here. I'm trying to see if we have enough room to kind of put stuff out of the way, and we might have to disconnect some of our big wires over here on the other side just to kind of sneak it out of there. If you're really careful, you might be able to lift this up out of the way and pull it out, but we don't want to damage any of our electrical connections. So this is kind of a little bit of a pain, but there is this cover here, and what you're going to want to do is just grab a little screwdriver and just kind of push these little tabs back so you're able to get this to release. And then you can see right here we do have 13 millimeter bolts that we're going to be. All right, so we got the big box here off the top. You can see we just have our wires just kind of here so we can get them out of the way. There is this one plug here. There's a little locking tab. You just got to push down and pull this out, and we should be able to get our battery out once we get our little, there's a bolt down in here that holds it in place. So once we release that, we should be able to get our old battery out of the way. So being GM, they could not make it that easy, so I ended up having to remove our coolant overflow as well. There is a nut here for 10 millimeter, and there's a bolt over there, it's 10 millimeter, and then this kind of just flops over here to the side, and now we can finally get our battery out of this thing. All right, so our coolant bottle is back in place. We have our battery nicely fastened where it needs to be, and now we just have to reconnect all of our electrical connections and this big block here that sits on top of our battery. And then I can go look for my 13 millimeter that fell down into the abyss. So for our part number, we do have a 94R H7 brackets, and we did go with an AGM battery this time. This is a Duracell Platinum AGM, so going away from the flooded acid to the AGM battery. Hopefully this thing lasts a little bit longer. And everybody's out on motorcycles today. I wish I was. I need to go ride. All right, so our battery is in place now. Everything is where it needs to be. Just a few things to take out of the way to get it out, which just makes it a little bit more tricky than your average battery install, but take an extra few minutes and you'll be able to get it out and be able to get the new one in place. So now we're ready for our first startup, and it should sound a whole lot better than that old one. All right. Oh yeah. Definitely sounding a whole lot stronger. That old one was sounding pretty weak. So as you can see, we do have the Yukon up on the ramps because I had to pull the entire belly pan off and get myself all full of that nasty stuff they put all over the frames on GMs to find my 13 millimeter socket, and it actually was in the wiring for the electric power steering, just kind of by that harness. I was able to get it out of there finally, but yeah, don't drop your sockets because it's not fun to find them. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. And as always, keep that hammer down.